and I gonna talk about how to get out of stuckness and no longer waiting. So we are welcoming 11/11, and that's a kind of timeline me and Sue are shifting. So we wanted to share our experience.
So there's a lot of changes going on now, as always, seems the last few years in the timeline change, I guess. So what I noticed for myself and what I have to offer today is that I've been feeling very stuck in my career. And, as far as the financial future, the future, our jobs are ending, my husband and mine. The ones that we had in place without any issues, until we until we signed our contract for this new house in Florida that we've been living in, and then we find out our jobs are ending. So, oh my goodness, that was quite stressful. And we've got some things in motion. My husband just started doing, he just started doing one step in front of the other to create his own business, which he's doing, which is happening. In the beginning, when he started, it wasn't obvious how things would work out, and but now there's more and more signs that it is working out because he's putting the effort and the intention into it. Sometimes the first steps when we make a new choice are small. They seem small or they seem possibly insignificant, but the fact is, taking that step forward and doing something different than what we have been doing, that breaks up, I think, the energy of stuck. And so for myself, what that translates into is, instead of waiting for the big shift, for the QFS, for med beds, for all these other things, I just started moving forward in a way. I took a job as a server at a restaurant. And, if you had asked me last year, would I ever be serving again, I wouldn't have said that I would. But I'm really glad I did because, for 6 years, I've been kind of the hermit. I've been working from home and I haven't been super social and I've needed all of that time to self reflect. However, I got to a point where I was just in a holding pattern and feeling stuck in waiting. What's the next step? When's it going to come? And I realized I needed to make it come, or at least allow it to come by not focusing on it anymore. And so I found something that I'm interested in doing. Helps me get exercise. It helps me make a little extra money. It helps me get out in society again and interacting with people, which I really love to do. And I felt my whole body shift and my whole emotions shift and even my thinking patterns where I am actually staying more in the moment while I'm doing this new thing. And I think it's just the impetus I needed to break feeling stuck. Um, so, if that doesn't look like taking a new job, it could look like, you pick up your paintbrushes after a lot of years and you just start painting again, or you start creating new content or a new site on YouTube and you just talk about things that matter to you. Because, as we've seen with TikTok, people love that shit. They come out in droves and they watch it. I mean, my kid is like always watching TikTok. Every time I see him, he's on the phone and watching TikTok. Well, why is that? Because he is connecting with people that aren't in his immediate environment, who have something to say that he's interested in hearing. So, that's the other thing. When we're trying to get unstuck, if we have this idea that we want to do something, just freaking try it, because you know what? If you judge it ahead of time, you may never do it. But if you just go ahead and do it and it doesn't work out well, nothing lost, right?
Yeah, I guess in the part of me, what I can share is because I do help a lot of people who are in the relationship, and then this does apply with a lot of people who are in the relationship or out of the relationship. And, especially if you are not in the place where you want it to be, you know, that you can define in any way, right? Like if you are in my situation, I left my twin flame 2 years ago for good. In my case, I on my quest of meeting my future husband. So I was told by my spiritual team to do real estate just for the sake of meeting him, right? But focusing on my spiritual business. So I got sidetracked the last few months doing the real estate 100%. And then I didn't feel too happy about that because that wasn't my calling. You know, I like doing what I'm doing right now. So I'm putting real estate thing very on the side, very, very on the side. But um, the reason I made my action, of course, because that was suggested to, but you can always choose whether you want to do it or not. I didn't want to be in the position of waiting for him to appear somehow. I don't know how, I don't know where, somehow, if I'm waiting for him, doing all this manifestation thing, somehow energetically he'll get it and somehow he'll appear. I didn't really want to take somehow he'll appear waiting for me by the chance. I wanted to take some kind of action was suggested, but that's not the kind of action I would normally make because I would say, what this real estate got to do with my goal? That's nothing to do with me, my educational entertainment company, right? Just real estate. But I did it because it's a good idea to be open-minded to go to the direction which is suggested because you never know how this connection will make you meet other people that might be helpful for my business in the future. But a lot of
Just to
times,
be clear, when you say it was suggested, you mean by your guides, right?
yeah, by my guide.
Mhm.
Um, and then, a lot of people, especially like I do that too. When you go to tarot card reading and oh, this is a message from you, your future husband, or pick a card about your new love. You know, um, you hope like you're gonna get some kind of great information, and then oh yeah, you want to hear he's getting closer and closer, whatever, right? But that's an energetic thing, unless you already met the person, right? When you are or maybe some of you have no idea what kind of person you want to meet in the future. So you're like, okay, I'm single. I dated these people or that people, did all this dating up. I haven't met anyone you like, and you feel like, oh my God, I'm still in this position, stuck, single. I mean, you kind of like being single. I'm not complaining that me being single, I mean, single, you can provide a lot of freedom and everything. But sometimes when you have enough experience in being single, you miss companionship, especially when you had the amazing relationship in the past, which I had a couple of great relationship with my exes. And then I do miss companionship. I really do. Just watching TV, sitting next to each other, not saying anything, but so comfortable. So you just be you, he just being him, and then we are just together. That kind of thing, like eating food together. You're not doing anything special, but we are doing something together or just breathing together. Like I miss that. So I was in the position of waiting for him for I don't know, a good year or something, trying to put myself into the vibration and see if he appears. But, I come to the conclusion you kind of have to take an action and put yourself out there. It doesn't matter what kind of action you're taking, any kind of action.
Mhm. Yeah. But the one thing I think what you forgot to mention, which is so important, is you knew that you weren't going to meet him staying in your apartment or being reclusive. Um, and because yeah, I mean, all I noticed with you all of the production that you've been doing and working on your business and everything that brings you a lot of joy. But you also know you're not going to meet probably the guy that is for you by doing that all the time. There had to be something else, so you took, classes and you got out and you went to festivals and things of that nature. So, I mean, that's an action and it may be considered not a big action, but it's an action and it's not waiting. It's breaking that waiting energy. Um, because Abraham Hicks, who is known as Abraham, the voice of Abraham, she'll say, be ready to be ready to be ready. And I do agree with that to some extent. However, there comes a time where you have to stop being eh, waiting. Being
Yeah.
ready is one thing, but then it just seems to me obvious that there has to be some corresponding action that goes along with that. And even if that is just stepping out to the park more often than you ever did, or spending, 10 more minutes doing that, or having a conversation with somebody in a grocery store when you normally wouldn't talk to anybody. Those are all little actions that can turn into something that we never anticipated. So being ready is one thing, stepping into, and that goes back to my mentor, what he always taught me, and these are the tools of creation: thought, word, and deed. Okay. So you have the thought, which is your intention. You're saying, okay, this is what I would like to see manifest in my life. And then you talk about it, whether it's to yourself or to other people. You get the word out that, that's an action, by the way. That's that's not standing still or waiting. When you're talking about something, that's an action. And then deed, you actually take some kind of physical action toward that thing that you're intending, thought, word, and deed. So, that's all breaking out of our waiting, holding pattern, feeling stuck. Do something, even if it's something that isn't going to, in your opinion, isn't going to factor in your future in some major way, but it's at least something that still breaks the pattern of waiting or being stuck.
Yeah, because when you do something, you are no longer creating the reality of creating a waiting reality, And then that's how we are now shifting to 11/11, November 11th, toward creating, even if you don't think you have already entered a new reality or your dream reality you imagined of, right? When you make a decision of, okay, I'm no longer waiting, I'm going to start creating or stepping one direction toward where I want to be. Set your goal and then step just one action. Doesn't matter how tiny that is.
Hmm.
And that will create a ripple effect in not just this reality, but parallel reality too.
Yeah. And since you talked about relationships, I want to mention this. The thought, word, and deed. My husband and I, one of the things that makes our relationship work is we talk about absolutely everything. Okay. And sometimes you need to hit a topic more than once. You need to keep talking about it. And then you start feeling like you want to do it. So at first you have an idea. He had an idea. I want to start my own business. I've been in marketing for 30 years. I'm really good at what I do, but I'm getting tired of trying to find somebody to work for, so maybe I'll just create my own business. Okay, so that's a thought. So then he expressed it, and that's word, and eventually started taking steps towards building that, which is the deed. But he didn't go right from thought to deed. He had to talk about it a lot. And I think that's almost like our own pep talk to ourselves when we have these ideas and we talk about it. We talk about it with ourselves. We talk about it with another person, a friend, a trusted person. And of course, if you have, a romantic relationship as partners, you talk about it together because what one does affects the other. So that builds intimacy. But the thing is, you're not always ready to go from the thought to the action. So what we're also saying is talk about it because you may just The more you talk about something that you're interested in doing, you may just talk yourself into it. It's that spiritual pep talk that you needed. You're ready to be ready to be ready, right? But you're actually putting energy into it by even just discussing it. You know, find a trusted person that you can talk about your desires with or your interests in, and we have the ability to tell which people are going to be receptive to hearing new ideas for us. Um, so pick somebody that isn't going to throw like five hammers into your conversation. They're just going to let you talk. They're going to give you that space.
Yeah, and then that's our tips for today. So if you guys want to change, and especially if you like a stuck, try to start to do something, or at least start talking about what you want to do. So thank you so much for watching. Please share, like, subscribe. Me and Sue will see you guys next Friday. Bye.
Bye.